For this outdoor news episode, I have a wild story to share. This one comes from the state of Arizona, where recently the temperatures were over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. The region that we will be focusing on is the Lake Mead National Recreation Area, where recently the extreme heat has led to multiple rescues, one tragic death, and serious questions about accountability. My name is Luke, this is the Outdoor Gear Review. Thank you so much for tuning in. Folks, let's break down everything that's been happening with this wild story. Over the course of 2 days, park rangers at Lake Mead have carried out rescue operations for 33 individuals. These rescue operations occurred on a popular but very challenging trail known as the Arizona Hot Springs Trail. Because so many people had to be rescued in such a short period of time, local authorities decided to go ahead and close this trail. Because obviously there's a problem, right? A common sense problem. Even with the extreme heat that was taking place, individuals and groups were still attempting to hike this trail. Again, 33 people rescued, 1 death. You may be wondering, how hot exactly was it? We're talking about temperatures over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and when you factor in how strenuous and tough this trail was, it was a smart move to shut down the trail to stop people from hiking it. Those hikers, those groups, that school, they didn't have enough common sense not to go out and to hike this trail in these conditions, so law enforcement had to act. That's right, folks, a group from a local school had to be rescued from this trail, and that's where this story takes an interesting turn, a bizarre turn. So let's just start at the beginning, right? On February 12th, which was a Wednesday, a hiker tragically lost their life on the Arizona Hot Springs Trail. Autopsy showed that his death was due to the extreme heat that he was facing on that trail that day. This individual was not alone on this hike. There were 5 others with him. Luckily, all of them survived. They all survived even though they were suffering from severe heat-related illnesses, and they had to be airlifted out of the area. The next day, which was a Thursday, that would have been February the 13th, a large-scale search and rescue operation took place for 28 hikers, 3 adults and 25 children. 25 children with special needs. This group was from a school called the Marvelous Micro School in Kingman, Arizona. And apparently this is an annual event that takes place every single year. And get this, they call it the Death March. You can't make this stuff up, folks. It's just too weird. Every single year, the Death March takes place, and it's open to 7th graders all the way up to the 12th grade. It is a 9.5-mile hike. I did a little bit of research about this trail, and I can tell you all, based upon my research, this does not sound like an easy trail at all. This trail is known for its steep elevation changes and its lack of shade. To the locals, this is considered a very dangerous trail. This trail is so dangerous, in fact, that it has a history that surrounds it. A history of heat-related fatalities and rescues. Anyways, folks, this is a breakdown of what took place. At roughly 8 o'clock in the morning, the group set out, and they expected to have it all wrapped up by 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Their plan absolutely blows my mind because they're going out on a trail that is basically nothing but exposure, there's no shade, and they were going to hike it in the hottest part of the day. And I have to say, I fully understand and agree with the decision to shut down that trail after these events. To you and I, this is a common sense issue here, right? You do not go out hiking when you're fully exposed in the hottest part of the day. You just don't do that, right? Common sense tells you not to. But in this case, this school decided to do this. They decided to do this with temperatures going over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Nobody should do this. Most people know not to. It's a common sense issue, or it should be. You know what I mean? As you can imagine, in conditions like this, things did not go well. Mile after mile, the temperatures rose and the group ran out of water. And that's where their problems began to unfold. According to the National Park Service, despite the risks, the group, they set out on this trip and they were not prepared for the conditions. You have this school group out on this hike, out in the sun, the intense heat, it's very strenuous. These children have special needs, and obviously there's going to be issues. And that's exactly what they began to face. Once the students began having some heat-related issues, health issues, a phone call went out asking for help. But this wasn't done by a member of the staff, but rather one of the students. According to the National Park Service, the student acted independently from the school. They saw what was taking place. They saw how ill-prepared that they were. They saw that their fellow students were suffering, and they had to make a decision. So that is exactly what they did. They called 911, and a search and rescue operation was initiated for the group. Why did the staff not call for help? This is not known. Why did the student not talk to the staff before calling for help? This too is not known. With this news story going viral, hitting the airwaves, every outlet, the school did respond. They stated that they wished that the student did not call for help. but rather talk to the staff. I am sure that the school wishes this student did not make that phone call and put their names out there, because yeah, this looks bad. It really, really does. Talking about the school for a second, again, this is the Marvelous Micro School. They describe themselves as a private institution offering small classroom settings for K through 12 students. And yes, they've made a number of public statements concerning what has taken place. Most of them dispute what the National Park Service has stated. They claim that the National Park Service was incorrect in that they had brought enough water for every single student, and that they, in fact, did not run out of water. The National Park Service disagrees with this statement. They disagreed with that statement so much, in fact, that they went ahead and issued 2 citations to the school. One citation was for creating a dangerous situation and for not being prepared. The other citation was for not following park rules in regards to the permits. Speaking of the citations, because of the violations that this school received, I do want to point out, folks, that someone needs to be raising the question as to whether or not this school and the staff should be held criminally responsible for putting these students at risk. I'm not alone in this. In fact, there are many right now who are questioning the exact same thing. Taking these children out into a dangerous situation where temperatures were over 100, there's no shade. According to the National Park Service, they were unprepared, they didn't have enough water, all the while they didn't get the proper permits for the hike. Without a doubt, they're creating a dangerous situation, and they're lucky that none of those kids were seriously hurt. Putting the lives of those students at risk for nothing is reckless. Putting the lives of the search and rescue teams in danger was reckless. Wasting the resources of the community on this search and rescue operation is reckless. Talk about setting a negative example for all of these students. Folks, this story is just mind-blowing to me, for so many reasons, all of which I've covered already. And in the end, everyone, these events really do serve as a stark reminder at how dangerous hiking can be in extreme heat. Lake Mead Park officials and myself want to again stress to everyone how you have to be properly prepared for the conditions. Let it be cold or heat, it doesn't matter. You have to be properly prepared. You have to be ready for the adventures that you're going out on. And the adventure that you're going out on has to make sense, right? You certainly do not go out for a strenuous hike when the temperatures are above 100 degrees. And you do not hike during the hottest part of the day. All of this is just crazy and reckless. With these 2 events, the large group rescue and the smaller one, the tragic death, all of this could have been avoided. It could have been avoided if common sense was followed. I have personally seen death in situations just like this, and it can happen so fast. A few years ago, Susie and I were in the Badlands of South Dakota. It was hot, like really, really hot. Temperatures over 100 degrees. We're in the Badlands. I was doing some photography, going from the cool vehicle, getting out, taking some pictures, and getting back in. Even that short period of time of just being out, even though the humidity wasn't high, it was just so crazy hot, and you could just feel it like cooking you, While we were out for that trip, a hiker nearby died due to the conditions. He had cell phone service, he called for help, and he passed away before search and rescue can get to him. They knew exactly where he was, and they could not get to him fast enough. That individual died because of a combination of exposure, intense heat, and dehydration. And the thing is this, he shouldn't have died. He shouldn't have been out there. All of that could have been avoided with some common sense. With that being said, my thoughts go out to the family and friends of the hikers who have passed away in the heat out there. And I'm talking about in South Dakota, and I'm also talking about in this situation in Arizona. To the school, you're lucky that you didn't kill 1 or more of those kids. Good grief, folks. Reporting on these stories, everyone, the things that I have to report on sometimes blow my mind, right? It blows my mind that this school would take those kids out into such a dangerous situation. It's just nonsensical. Yeah. Where has common sense gone? I don't know. I have no idea. Do you know? If you can answer that question, comment down below. I do appreciate it. Folks, this wraps it up for this outdoor news episode. I told you all this would be a wild tale, and it certainly is. Unfortunately, we had 1 tragic death in this situation that could have been avoided. All of this could have been avoided. With that being said, what we can do is pull from these news stories and not repeat the same mistakes that these individuals have been making, right? Everyone, I appreciate you all joining me for this episode. Do take care, be well, strength and honor. Bye for now.